All right, do you know where we are today? You got it. We are at Walker's Creek Park. And this is Sunday Walk and Talk. And today, on Sunday Walk and Talk, I think I'm going to rant a little. But that's okay. Sunday Walk and Talk is about all kinds of things that I'm thinking about. These are things I think about. These are things I want to get off my chest. And sometimes not all. You know what? We will always come to the Lord. It always comes back to Jesus, because Jesus is the answer. Amen. And so it's very desolate of people on Sundays most of the time. I think last week or the week before they had some ball games going on, and but it's a good place. I'm going to stay in the shade. My car says it's 93 out, so it's probably about 90 out. So we're going to stay in the shade. There's somebody riding their bicycle. I want to ride my bicycle. I'm going to ride my bicycle. Yeah, bicycle. And I will see you in just a second as we get our walk started. All right. Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Detweiler. Go to my Rumble. You can just go to Rumble and look up the Detweiler. I'm the Detweiler. That's right, the Detweiler. And so this is Sunday. It is walk and talk time. Got to get my mile in. It's about 90 degrees out right now, but we're going to stay in the shade. We'll probably work up a little bit of sweat. Got to sweat, man. Got to keep the body going. And here's our starting point. Right there. And let's get started. I'm probably going to rant a little bit, but that's okay. That's what walk and talk is about. You know, my daily, which now that I'm back on YouTube, because, you know, I had to take 2 weeks off of YouTube, and because they went back a year and a half to find something that they could give me strikes for. But that's okay. We're not doing anything that's wrong. And you know, most of my posts, which I really am getting back to, I got to record a whole bunch. I think we ended up at 39 quotes, daily quotes, posted on YouTube, and I think I got most of them on. If you go to the Rumble, it's kind of eclectic. That because I'm still learning how to put things in folders and keep things organized, because it actually comes down, you know, you run it through an editor, and then after you run it through, you know, you have all the original footage, and then you have edited stuff, and you end up with so many files. And so I'm learning how to organize. I've never been the best in organization, so this is a challenge, and I'm learning about that. So Rumble's it will be a little disjointed, and Rumble's hard to use compared to YouTube. Rumble is hard to use, and I want to go back in and re-edit some things on Rumble, and I just can't see how to do it. I just can't figure out how to do it. Maybe you just can. Once it's posted, and the only thing you can do is delete it, I guess. I don't know. I haven't found a good tutorial on that. And because I want to work on the YouTube. YouTube's easier, and I still want to learn more about YouTube. I still am not sure about all the things I can do with YouTube and everything. And so, and I need you to subscribe and hit like and stuff, just to create the algorithm so we can get to 1,000 subscribers. And because now to get monetized, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and blah 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 blah. And so I need your help to get to the blah 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 blah, and because that's how that works. You see how technical I've become on these things. So that's what I'm asking. Just like, subscribe. I am learning how to edit things a little bit better, add things to the videos in the beginning and the end. And see, I don't think we got this view before. One of these times I might just cut down one of these paths and take a look at that. I don't want to do it. These are my walking shoes, my good walking shoes. I don't want to get them all messed up. They're also my, if I go to church or someplace nice, they're my day off shoes, so I don't want to mess them up, you know. And so here we are. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm seeing this as a see that little, there's a little growth. I still think I can zoom in on this. I just haven't figured out how to do it. I haven't been active at trying to figure out how to do it. See, the creek's kind of drying up right there. It had water all the way through there, but we haven't had rain in a little bit, and so now it's starting to dry up a bit. But so anyway, back to what I was talking about. I don't even know what I was talking about. I started to ramble. YouTube and Rumble. Get on those. Help me out. The Rumbles. I think half of the things I've uploaded are already monetized, and I don't know if now I just need y'all to hit likes and views, and they'll start putting it out. Because with Rumble, they'll monetize you like right away, from what I'm understanding, what I'm seeing, if you give them 40% rights to your material. And then they'll start pushing your material into other websites and stuff. And if they start getting some revenue from advertising from there, they get 40%, you get 60%. And that's fair because they're doing the work to get the videos out there. And you're not having to wait until you get 1,000 subscribers to experience monetization. Now, I have not made anything from it, but I've only got 2 subscribers on Rumble, and I'm one of the 2. So, and I don't know how to get people to my channel, to get them to like it or get them to subscribe to it. So all I can do is come to Facebook and YouTube and ask y'all to kick on the Rumble and do that. I mean, like, most of my posts, my daily posts, are between 30 seconds and a minute and a half. So, you know, it can help you out because it's a good word. I'm focusing on righteousness on these right now. Like I said, I posted and it helps me. Help me, help you, help me. Help you. Help me. Help you. And so, like I was saying, at 39 I posted, I now have 103 quotes in total. And so that's pretty cool. And so I have to start doing some recording and some uploading. I might get a couple recorded today and start uploading those. See, now we just did a quarter mile, and start uploading those. It's really, for the fact that it's 90 degrees out already, honestly, with this shade, it really doesn't feel that hot. I haven't broken a sweat. You'd think that, bam, you would have broken a sweat by now, but I haven't. And that's cool. So as my week went on, I had a pretty good week. I hope you had a pretty good week, and now we can look forward to better weeks to come. And there's a couple things that have come up that I want just to discuss. And one, my favorite weatherman, who I know through Facebook, he helped me out to move one time. He blessed me with $100 to afford the moving truck and everything. Really good guy, wonderful guy. But he works for Fox 4, and But you know what? When you're inundated with propaganda, now remember, Fox 4, the local stations, and he's even told me, he says, they get their news, they pretty much, you can't on our local station say, okay, well, it's Fox, so it's a conservative news channel. It's not, because they are literally, they got, he says, they got young producers and stuff, and they're just getting this quote news off of AP, the Associated Press. I mean, they're not doing any research. They're not showing us what's the difference between the conservative point of view is and the liberal point of view is. They're basically helping to spread propaganda. That's how I feel. That's just my opinion. Because one side says it's propaganda, the other side says that you're propaganda, the proper propaganda. So don't hit me on strikes on that, YouTube. This is just my perspective, that our local channels of Fox have come more into line with the other local channels of other stations. That's all I'm pointing out. So yeah, I don't think that should be, I don't think that's a strike. I think that's just my opinion of what I'm seeing, that they're very, very similar. But that's where my friend, you know, he gets that every day, even though normally he thinks more of closer to a right side of things. I wouldn't call him a complete right side conservative, but he's more conservative than he is liberal. But he's posting about why gas prices and why the inflation, and he's literally just making excuses for this administration. That's what I believe, because this is a fact. We watched President Biden, if you notice, that's what I said. We watched President Biden go on his first day, start his many executive orders that were literally just counteracting the things that Donald Trump had put into place. That's a fact. And he did that day after day after day. So if you reverse policies and you look at the numbers of where we were, especially before the COVID hit, fact, we had a great economy. Fact, we had low inflation. Fact, we had low gas prices. Fact, wages were going up. Fact, we had more consumer buying power. Those are just facts. And if you reverse the policies that brought that to pass, what's going to happen? The reverse. This is just what I'm saying, okay? But he's bringing out Ukraine, Russia. That's why gas, and my response to that was like, we were energy independent. Independent means we did not depend on Russian oil, Saudi oil, Kuwait oil. We did not depend on them because we were an exporter of oil and gas. So you can't say, okay, we're independent, but suddenly Russia, you know Russia's Nord Stream 1, out of article, there we go, we just did a half mile. Nord Stream 1, in February, I guess Biden said he was going to cut that off and stuff, after he was the one that gave the approval to allow it to go forward, where Donald Trump had it cut off. And but that's another thing Biden did. And but he said he was going to
put a block to it. But the last article I could find, which was after he said he was going to put the block to it, it was March or April, said that that pipeline was just still operating at full capacity, or still operating at capacity, or the capacity it was operating at. Nothing's changed. And so I've done research. I'm looking. I want the truth. I'm looking for the truth. And so I said, look, man, I said, energy independence. And then he said, well, because things slowed down so much that now it's basically caught the oil companies off guard. Well, not necessarily, because we were under 7% unemployment when Trump left office. I think we're at 6.3 or 6.9%. Fact checkers can check me on that. But we're somewhere in the sixes. Well, at that time, the economic forecast was that our unemployment would be somewhere around about 10. And we were in the sixes. And so economies were coming back already. That means demand was coming back already. When the predominantly blue states that were still closed down finally started opening up after Biden took office, more demand. Well, that was obvious, and it didn't take a brain surgeon in the oil industry to know that demand had already started picking up, and under Trump, gas prices were still low. Oil companies were still net exporters at the end of the Trump administration, and we had the supply. So it's not that, oh, they were caught off guard, or that they didn't realize that they need to upgrade their production because demand was coming back. They've had 2 years. They've had 17 months of Biden to realize that all the states, like once the predominantly blue states opened up after Biden came into office, red states were open already. We're already in the sixes in terms of unemployment, so that was coming down drastically. So it wasn't like it takes a brain surgeon to say, hey, demand is coming back, we need to boost our supply. Well, guess what? So the arguments are saying that they just didn't have the time, or that because of COVID that suddenly like demand came and we didn't know, or whatever the case may be. No, plenty of time to ramp up. Plenty of time to ramp up. A year and a half, 2 years, plenty of time to ramp up. So why haven't they ramped up? Why aren't we a net exporter of oil and gas? Well, it's not because of supply and demand. Well, it is because of supply and demand. It's because our resources have been limited from being able to give supply. This is my point of view. This is what I've researched. This is what I've been looking at. You have another point of view? That's great. That's what America's about. We can voice our point of views on how we see things. And so I'm not negating somebody else's point of view. I'm just saying I disagree with his postulations of why we're in the situation that we're in. And so we do need to point the finger at our Fed, because the federal government has taken over way too much power over the states. Number one, they've usurped their authority way beyond what the Constitution says their authority should be. And they do have, the party in power does have, and the president in power and the party in power, if they're the same, has to bear the responsibility for the policies that lead to the things that are happening in our country. And so that's my point of view. It's just my opinion. And my friend has a different opinion on those things. In America, we're allowed to disagree and have opinions, and so they're logical opinions. Do your research. I just say do your research on both sides of things and come up to your own conclusions. We're not supposed to be told what to think. We're supposed to be taught how to think. And how to think is doing as much research into all the various aspects of what's going on so you can come up with your conclusion, because that's how to think. What is that one quote? Let me see. Correlation does not imply causality. Just because gas prices, we can go back, fact checkers, you can fact check me on this, but I'll pull up receipts, gas receipts. I have digital gas receipts, so you can see, I'd say within a month, 2 months of Biden taking office, and I'll post receipts if you want to see them, that gas prices already started shooting up. And for me, they went from an average of $1.89. I got receipts from November and December, and I was paying between $1.82 and $1.89 per gallon. So within less than a year, I was paying $2.89 a gallon. So it went up $1. Okay, and then it was creeping further, and then this year, as we got into things, then it has just shot up like crazy. But it's not because of Russia and Ukraine. Correlation does not imply causality. Because you saw a rise in gas prices when Russia attacked Ukraine doesn't mean that that's the cause of those rising gas prices. You have to do deeper research. That's all I'm saying. You have to look into it more. You can't just say, oh, it correlates at the same time as this, so it must be that. That must be the cause of it. That's not how it works. And you can't think that way. But unfortunately, the uneducated mind, or the very educated mind that wants to manipulate, thinks that way. Either or. So that's where I'm at on that. Like I said, my views, my opinions, my research, I give him his right to have his views through what he's been looking at, and to voice those. So I'm just voicing my opinion on what I've seen, and I don't think that should actually be a strike against anything, because I have documentation to support my views. He has documentation to support his views, and that's just where everybody has to come and say, well, let me look at this and let me look at that, and I will think how I believe this information comes to me. And that's what America is supposed to be about. And so, but it has to be a free exchange of ideas, not one idea being censored and one idea being put forth as the only idea. So I think I'm within guidelines, and I want it to be. I'm not out here to be the guy that's on the edge or anything. This is just what I'm living. My rent went up $156 in the 17 months that Biden's been in office. We discussed gas prices and we look at the gas price was causing food crisis and food prices up, and my pay went up 2% in the last year and a half, 16, 18 months. So, you know, this is my perspective. This is my life. This is what I'm living. This is all I'm saying. This is just what my life is. And then I guess I'm gonna keep going. We've already hit a mile. I'm maybe let's do another half a mile. Let's do another back and forth. Ooh, something moving in the woods. It's moving in the woods. Run away, run away. And so, you know, now I'm gonna get a little bit of Jesus on you. Just get a little bit of Jesus, because Jesus got on me, okay? And it's interesting. You know, when I came out of COVID, I felt the Lord said, take a deep dive into righteousness, and that's why we're having righteousness scriptures and so forth and so on. And the other day, Friday or Thursday, I think Thursday, no, it was Friday, Henson, my boss, gave me the envelope from corporate, you know, with a little pin and a you know, letter from Greco, the CEO. He probably doesn't even know what that letter says, you know, because, you know, it's just all his marketing team and stuff that puts that stuff together. So I'm pretty sure he don't know. But it's that letter. It says, thank you for your loyalty to the company, your years of service, blah blah blah. And so I'm reading that, and I started to get a little ticked off. And so I started getting a little ticked off as I'm reading it. And it's talking about you know, how much he appreciates me, and the company appreciates me. And you're saying to yourself, well, why is he getting ticked off? And I'll tell you why. I'm getting ticked off, or why I was getting ticked off. And this is where we come back to Jesus stepping in and having a heart to daily seek first righteousness. And that's what it's about, is daily seeking first righteousness in everything we do. So, you know, we've been working on that. I've been working on that. You've been working on that with me. You know, seeking how we're supposed to approach things. And if we have a heart of seek first righteousness, righteousness will speak. And that's what I'm calling this when I post the short message, is when you seek righteousness, righteousness speaks. And so, and this is my example of that. This is my example, because I'm reading this letter. Remember, someone that has a heart to seek righteousness first, righteousness is going to speak, right? So, I'm starting to fume, man. I'm starting to fume. I'm reading this, and the reason I'm starting to fume is that this year, the Grand Master CEO, Tom Greco, he was given a $4 million increase for his salary on top of his $8 million salary. So he got a 50% increase in his salary. That's all well and good if everybody else is doing well, because in the free market society, and we discussed this before, in the free market society, the wealth and prosperity or success of a business leader needs to be seen in the well-being and success and the living standard of his people. Okay? Well, this is not Tom Greco. Tom Greco receives his $4 million increase in his salary on top of his $8 million. So he's doing quite well for himself and the stockholders, okay? But it's at the expense of the people that are actually on the ground making that money, okay? All right, those people that are not in those stores are not making the money that they're being paid. The people, us on the ground, the slave labor is what is making that $12 million for that man. And so I'm fuming, man, because this year he got himself a 50% pay increase. And you know what he did for those on the plantation, the slave labor, who is barely now with the inflation at between, you know, they say 8%, even at 8%, but usually I pull out all the food items and stuff that I buy. We're talking about 10-13% increase in food prices. Gas prices is definitely much higher than 8%. So when you look at those indicators, my rent increase in the last 18 months, 17 months, definitely way above 8%. So true inflation in my life, and I can crunch the numbers for you as empirical data, is way above 8%. So the leader, the grand master of my company, Tom Greco, it was in his good graces that he gave us, the serf population, a 2% increase across the board this year. A 2% increase. Woo! My actual dollar amount per month, and that's even cutting back and doing things that I was doing, I can't do right now because of this. $280 a month, my bills have gone up. Net, that's net. And my pay increase net is $32 a month. So I'm still $248 a month in the hole from where I was 18 months ago, 17 months ago. And so I'm fuming. I'm sitting in my car and I start speaking out these things. I'm starting to speak out these facts of what's going on, and I'm getting mad. And here comes, because I choose to be someone that desires in my heart to seek first righteousness, okay, to respond with righteousness, to respond how the word says. And I'm sitting there in my car, and all of a sudden I feel the Holy Spirit just stop me, just arrest me, and I just shut my mouth. If you feel the Holy Spirit start to move, you need to shut your mouth. I needed to shut my mouth. And it was basically it's like, hey, shut your mouth. And so I shut my mouth. And then I heard in my spirit, pray for those who despitefully use you. Pray for those who despitefully use you. Well, you know what? That's why I'm not ticked off anymore. And now it's saying, I agree with that, Lord, because that's right. Hey, there's a bunny rabbit. Do you see the bunny rabbit? I wish I could. Hey, bunny rabbit, wait. Wait, bunny rabbit. I just want to take a picture. I want everybody to see you. See the bunny rabbit? See the bunny rabbit? See? That's nature. Bunny rabbit. And so I got to a place where I was like sitting there going, okay, well, I guess getting all angry and worked up about all this and having all the facts and everything that gives me that right to be outraged up at this man and this company and how they're doing things. Well, that might be the facts, but I only have the right in righteousness to operate and believe the truth, and the truth is righteousness. And the truth says, pray for those that despitefully use you. And one, that calmed me down. That calmed me down. And now it gives me a way when this comes up is to be able to say, Lord, how do I pray for this man? Now I'm looking for the proper way to pray for this man and this organization that is despitefully using the people that are on the ground doing the work. And I'm doing that. So what did that do? It changed my attitude, which changes the atmosphere, which changes the altitude of how I'm going to go in this situation. And then, because the blessing is in righteousness, I am now seeking how to answer this situation with righteousness by praying for those that despitefully use me. I am now opening up the door for the blessing that's in righteousness, which is the blessing of Abraham. You know, because God said to Abraham, I have accounted your faith unto what? Righteousness. And Abraham walked a life of blessing. And it's in the shed blood of Jesus Christ that we have the blessing of Abraham. He has accounted our faith in him unto righteousness, his righteousness. And that goes to the very last thing. Let's see, what was it this morning? Oh yeah, someone posted on our church feed on YouTube, said Jesus is the answer to everything. And I said, yes, that is true. That is so true. Jesus is the answer to everything. We need to know that. Jesus is the Word of God. Jesus is the Word of righteousness. And so how do we get the answer to everything? Through Jesus. Seek first righteousness. What is that? What does Jesus think about? What are Jesus' thoughts on this? What is Jesus' character in this? And what are Jesus' actions in this? That's righteousness. That's seeking first righteousness. And so, yes, Jesus is the answer to everything, but we have to step into his thought process, his character, and then his actions. And how is that? We what? It's by transforming our minds by the word of righteousness. I know I went a little long. I got an extra half a mile in. I'm now really sweaty. I'm ready to go home and cool off, make a little supper dinner in a little bit, and start putting videos together and uploading them. I love you. God bless you. And I'll see you next time.